Goodbye 2020, we won't miss you. Today's video talks about 2021 goals and what I hope to accomplish this year in 2021. So stay tuned. Welcome to The Right Mama. My name is Jennifer Aline. I am a freelance writer, a women's fiction writer, and the mother of twin girls. Happy New Year. You made it. I'm jumping on the bandwagon to talk about 2021 goals. And even though we did just do a 2020 takeaway tag that kind of talked a lot about the things we took away from this crazy year and what we want to bring with us, I will tag that below. I'm still going to talk a little bit about the goals that I hope I will accomplish this year in 2021. I'm going to talk a little bit about my writing goals, reading goals, and personal goals. So we'll start off with writing because that's the most exciting. My writing goals are honestly kind of scattered and all over the place until come February and March, because latest March, I'm going to make a decision. I've been querying some agents and some small press editors to hopefully get that age scooped up by, let's say, March 2021. I have had some positive feedback and I have sent out a few full manuscript requests, so that's been cool, but I've played this game before. I know not to just wait around and hope that something positive will come. Yes, that's what I want, and yes, that's the goal. However, I know this game, and sometimes it just doesn't work, it's not a good fit, and that's that. So if I do sign a contract in 2021, traditionally I will be doing edits. I'll be working with my agent to hopefully submit to some big 5 editors, some other presses, hopefully to get my book traditionally published and purchased. But like I said, I'm not holding my breath. I do want to get traditionally published someday. However, if I don't get picked up by March 2021 latest, I am going the indie publishing route. Now, this is what I have planned for 2021 if I self-publish that age. I will have to do another round of edits. I will have to do some beta reads, get some arcs out there. I want to do a proofreader or a few proofreaders. I'll have to do all the things that come with self-publishing, and I'm not going to get into that list with you. However, I'm also going to do a somewhat fast release because I know that in the indie realm that is where a lot of success comes from. And I'm not a fast writer, so this could be tricky. If I go the indie route, I will want that age to get out in the fall of 2021. A few months later, at the beginning of 2022, I want another book to be published. And then, beginning of summer 2022, I would publish another book. I know that's a lot, and for me to think about that, it's honestly very overwhelming. However, it's also really exciting because I'd have to put myself on routine. I'd have to write. I'd have to do what I have to do to make this happen. I know fast release is a little more successful in the indie world, and I just think that having a few books behind me when I do this could make this a successful run at self-publishing for me. So that is what I have in line when it comes to hoping for traditional publishing, and if that doesn't work, my self-publishing adventure, which honestly, I have a lot of really fun creative ideas when it comes to the possibility of self-publishing. I'm terrified, but I do have a lot of ideas. On top of that, with writing, I would obviously have to finish the work in progress that I'm working on. If I self-publish, that will have to be really going through edits next year, cover art, all the things for that book. And then I'd have to start another book probably in the summer latest for that third book to come out in the summer of 2022. So I would be writing a lot. Other than that, I think that's it. The second thing I'm going to talk about when it comes to goals is reading. This month in December 2020, I did a little challenge with my stepsister to read every night for 25 days, starting at the beginning of December. And I meant read every night before I went to bed. And yes, I missed a couple nights. However, it felt really, really good. I finished a book and I started a couple new books. So it was just something I'm proud of and I want to keep this going. So I do have a goal to read maybe, let's say, 20 days out of each month before I go to bed. And I have some little apps I'll put up over here that I've been using to track my habits and to also work with my stepsister to kind of get that accountability and to support one another. I also want to read 10 books in 2021, and I'm a slow reader. I mean, I'm a slow reader. This year, I probably read like 5 books, maybe-ish. But reading, not listening, I want to read physically 10 books this year. And I want half of those to be indie published books, and I want the other half to be traditionally published. I really want to support both spectrums of the publishing world with what I read, because I am finding out just this past year that a lot of my favorite books that I've read are indie authors. So I'm diving in and I'm going to read some more. Again, I'm a slow reader. So 10 books in 1 year, while other people read hundreds of books in 1 year, that's a big deal for me. On top of that, I do want to read some more graphic novels. I've been reading Saga. I read Blackbird. I want to read some more just for fun. I'm not going to keep track of those as much. Just they're fun to read and check out. I also want to look in some poetry anthologies. I know people who submit to those or create them themselves with their writing, and I would love to check those out and support people who put those together, because that's a lot of work. Okay, the third section I'm going to talk about has to do with personal goals. I talked about this in, I think, my 2020 takeaway tag, is that patience is something I really need to work on. That's something with patience with myself, patience with my girls, patience with finances, patience with everything. I need to work on my patience. I also really want to get a regular freelance gig that does regular paying, so I have a regular paycheck coming in. And yes, right now I do social media management on a monthly basis. I get paycheck, but I wouldn't mind more of a bi-weekly paycheck like I used to get back in my 9-to-5 days. So that's something I would like to kind of really start getting. I also know that in the day of COVID, that's tougher, even though freelance and online, it makes it a little easier, but all in all, it can be tricky. Also, since it is the day of COVID, the age of quarantine, I want to continue, improving my aerial skills, my aerial arts skills, because this year in 2020, I definitely slacked because I had no choice but to slack. Our studio wasn't open, I couldn't practice, and though we are just kind of like half open right now, we can't have as much time in the studio, we can't have as many students, obviously. I really want to try my best to get stronger, to push myself when it comes to, aerial silks, and also I want to work more on aerial hoop and trapeze and hammock and other apparatuses. And if I can do that this year, that would be great. I really just want my stamina to improve. I also want to perform again, and I don't know if that's a goal that will happen in 2021 just because of what 2020 was made of. There weren't any performances in 2020, but it would be cool to have one performance, even if it was virtual. At this point, I just want to perform again. On top of that, I think the biggest personal goal for 2021 for me is to focus on my self-care and my mental health. That is something that I definitely need to focus more on. I want to go back into therapy, whether it is virtual or I can get one-on-one in-person therapy. I want to make sure that I give myself time to do my reading, to do my writing, to do my exercise, to focus on my well-being, because I think overall that will be really helpful for my mental health as well as my patience. And I think honestly my mental health is kind of like, once I improve that, everything else will kind of start to work out a little bit better and a little bit smoother in my personal life. So I really do think that that's probably priority number one over my writing, over everything, is for 2021 to really focus on self-care and mental health. So there you have it. That was my quick little video that's kind of jumping on the 2021 goals train that everybody else is doing. It was a quick snapshot at what I hope this year brings forward. So let me know in the comments below if you have any similar goals to the ones that I mentioned, because I'm sure that a lot of us do have similar goals. Also, if you have any suggestions for things like fast release, when I say fast release, I mean like a book every 6 months. If you have any suggestions or videos that you want to link me to, please do, because if I go the self-publishing route, I will need all the help I can get. But then again, I also hope that maybe an agent or an editor will pick me up by March. Fingers crossed. Thank you very much for listening. If you like this kind of stuff, subscribe below, hit the thumbs up button. I post every Friday. Thank you very much. Stay creative, and I forgot my coffee. I gotta go. Bye.